competition. Joining us now in the Element Well Studios in the Trademart is Representative Jill Ford. She serves at District 73, which includes my district. She would be my representative there in Ridgeland. Good to have you on there, Representative Ford.
Thank you, Gerard.
All right, so explain to me what you were just speaking to the group here. And it's my understanding that you proposed something that has been implemented, which is recognizing these students for not only their achievements, but for advancing on to the next level, right, from secondary school, from high school.
That's right.
Yeah, and so we're giving them essentially the equivalent treatment of someone who signs an athletic scholarship. And, well, we should.
We should. Yes, we should.
Tell us about that.
I want to just thank, first of all, Lee Nations and Brent Bean. Mississippi Construction Education Foundation met with me months ago, and I had this idea. It actually was an idea that I stole from the governor of Iowa. She did it last year for the first time and had, I think, about 15 young men sign. Today we had 25 young men sign, and my story is a little unique. I tell people, yes, my name is Jill Ford. I represent Madison County in the Mississippi House of Representatives, but first and foremost, I am the mother of 2 plumbers, and very educated plumbers. As you know, Gerard, my oldest son.
Done some work in my house.
That's right. My oldest son was going to go to law school. He had finished Ole Miss, was going to go to law school, and just decided, just listened really to the Lord's calling and decided to go into plumbing, and is doing great now in this trade. And I want to make it my mission to normalize the idea of sending our kids to trade school without making them feel like it's an inferior career choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I've had experience with your sons, and I see their trucks all over Madison County as well. And I know at first you weren't sure what to make of that when they told you that was what their career choice would be.
No, and I think my role as not only representative but the mother of 2 plumbers is to make sure I talk to the parents and explain to them that they need to lay their pride aside and take up the idea, open their heart and mind, and take up the idea of trades over a 4-year college degree. Because oftentimes we don't realize if you learn a trade, you have the opportunity and ability to own your own company instead of work for someone else for the rest of their life. And so I didn't know all this. I had to learn this, and it has, until I saw the success and the happiness and stability of both my sons, that I realized that I had this unique opportunity to be that voice to the parents and to the mamas especially.
Yeah. So is this the first year that we?
First year.
Okay, so first year. It's something you said you talked to Brent about. You made this proposal, and it's become a reality. We were here on the air. What was the reaction from the students as they were being recognized?
I was actually pretty much talking to the parents, just telling them how proud I was of their students and telling them that they were the smartest men in the room.
Absolutely.
Because their career choice is going to probably outpace their own parents at the rate that Mississippi has over 50,000 jobs that are available right now. But my husband and I did a great job of overselling a 4-year college degree and a really bad job of underselling a career technical degree.
Yeah.
And so I want to just encourage all the parents today. And again, I feel like that is my role in this whole thing, is just to, if someone would have told me, just lay your pride aside and give it a couple of years and see what your sons are going to be able to do. If they're willing to work hard and get their fingernails dirty, they will be able to own their own future.
Well, and it appears to me, whenever I run into your fine sons and see them out and about, that they're quite happy with their career choices, and they got all the work they can handle.
Got a lot of work, and I'm thankful and proud of that. And I want to just thank all my friends and constituents for using them. But Gerard, what I've learned since I have been placed in this role as the mama of 2 plumbers is that 71% of our high school seniors graduate high school and go to college, yet only 31% of them actually graduate college within 6 years. So total, there's about 69% of these kids that are floundering for their future. When you add those together, I am so concerned that those 69% think that they don't really have a place to fit in, and I want them to realize that just a 2-year degree, going to a technical school or a 2-year degree, which is basic hands-on learning, they can have a career that's going to give them an advantage and experience to earn while you learn, and they can steer clear of unnecessary college debt.
Yeah. Well, which is important. First, it's not for everybody, and secondly, society needs those skills, those
right,
services.
And that's what Patton did. He saw what did my community need, and a lot of plumbers were aging out, and so we needed a younger generation. And honestly, he could actually probably put young men in more counties around ours if he could take care of all of our county right now. So he's got as much work as he needs right now, and I praise the Lord for that. I'm not being bragging at all. So
that's awesome. All right, so give us a bit of an update from all the activities down there under the dome. I think probably a couple of high-profile issues that have cropped up is, of course, the postpartum Medicaid extension is one that, as you know, the governor announced a couple of weeks ago that he would support such a measure. It passed the Senate, got transmitted over to the House. The Speaker, I think, was a little hesitant, but it ultimately that passed through committee, got to the floor, passed the floor, and now it's headed to the governor's desk. I think you voted against the measure.
I did.
Tell us about that. What are your thoughts?
I did. It was a hard vote. As a woman, it was a very hard vote for me. I had many constituents not for it. I represent Madison County. I had a couple for it, but I voted no because I preferred a 6-month extension rather than a 12-month extension, and as well as I do that was not an option. And I'm glad our mothers are going to get some help, and hopefully we can absorb the additional cost. But it was not an easy vote. But, Gerard, sometimes you have to vote. You have to know your constituency, and you have to do what your constituency is, asking you to do.
Okay. So you got some feedback from your constituents. Okay.
Did.
And you were guided by them, and you voted where you felt was consistent with what they wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's the way it ought to work.
I always go back to the flag vote. I grew up just a couple of, maybe 15 miles from Shiloh National Park, and that was my field trip every year. And if I would have been, my heart, I did not necessarily want to vote against it, but I knew my constituency 20 years ago had voted percentage was higher and greater, and they wanted me to vote for the new flag, and so I tried my hardest to represent my constituency. Gotcha.
All right, so the other thing that it looks like is headed your way is this whole rework of MAEP funding. As you know, that made its way through the Senate. That is fairly complicated. I don't know why we have to make that so complicated. The formula itself is a bit to absorb. What's the talk around the House at this point?
Honestly, I think it's dead, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. I don't think we're going to take it up.
Okay.
But we still have this afternoon. We have to go back this afternoon.
That's what
and
I thought,
we have a couple bills that we're going to vote on this afternoon. I think the initiative process is one of them.
And the initiative process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I'm right on that.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would be the other high-profile
deadline days today.
Measure.
So if we don't bring it up today,
right.
It's not getting up. So
you're right. So your thoughts on that with the higher signature threshold?
I like the higher signature threshold, but my thoughts are truly for me, an initiative process is you get the initiative every 4 years to vote the person to represent your constituency and your base. And I don't want us to become California. They had 19 initiatives on their last election, and pages and pages of definition of what that was. I just don't want us to allow others to own our state, and so I'm hesitant of the initiative process. So I haven't seen what's coming before us, so I'm not going to tell you if I'm voting yes or no. I always try to do my best to make sure before I say how I'm going to vote. But right now, I'm leaning towards a no. And in 4 years, my constituents can vote me out and put someone else in if they don't like how I represent them.
Okay. Well, appreciate you coming on and talking about that and addressing those key issues and being candid about it. Appreciate that.
Well, honesty is about all I got, Gerard. So.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Always good to see you. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks for representing my county.
Thank you.
In the state legislature in the